up, y'all? This is Angela.
And this is Darrea.
And this is Where Are My Keys?
Welcome back.
Hey, we missed you.
Oh,
what?
Before we get started, can we show the people Mika? The people want to see Mika, right? Let me see. She's right up under here. Where'd she go?
Girl, she a squatter.
Come here, Mika.
And what's she doing squatting?
Here is our guest co-host.
We had to make baby booties for her.
Angie made these booties. Because y'all heard her pitter patter her little feet, and y'all heard her on the last episode for sure.
All of them.
Yeah. So
but
say hi to the people, Mika.
Girl, she looking for a next snack.
All right, y'all. So now that that's out the way.
All right, so we've already discussed that we are both moms.
Yes.
And so today we're gonna talk about the keys to pushing your kids out the nest.
Get out.
Hey!
Y'all ready for this?
Emancipation.
Now listen, I was telling Angie, like, my kids, they still in the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a 19-year-old, she in college.
Okay, 1 out of 5.
Angie, what do you call it when all your kids are gone?
Emancipation?
Empty nesting.
Oh.
Nancy. I'm gonna call you Nancy. Angie is an empty nester.
Only on paper. they keep coming back like
of
cats.
Of course they will. Yeah. They ain't never going. And I mean, to me, if you're a good parent, you're going to allow them to keep coming back like cats too.
Debatable.
No, because I just feel like even as like an adult, like my mama, like I needed her.
Yeah.
You know, so I was, Mama, can you, she gone now, so I can't really call her for those things. So I missed that, you know what I mean? But yes, I was calling my mama all the time, and she was there all the time.
Yeah, I think, man, it's one of them on the job training type situations.
Absolutely.
Like, you don't know if you got the mess right until they gone.
Absolutely. And to be honest, and I feel like, again, like we was talking offline just about a different situation, but everybody goes through almost the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so you see that a lot on social media because people post questions. You think like, dang, I was thinking that too. Uh-huh. But I was having a conversation with some of my friends over the weekend because she had posted like, man, parenting is hard and, I need some help or whatever. But like we all like, and I had responded to her like, girl, I was thinking the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and like we're in those a lot of us are in those teenage years with the kids or whatever. Yeah. So it's just proof. There is, first of all, somebody needs to write the book. Because there isn't one. There is no blueprint. We just kind of out here winging it. And I think it speaks to, I was telling Angie, how we were raised as kids.
Yes.
So how we were raised as kids, in my opinion, determines how we raise our kids. Because either, we want to keep them on the path that we had because it was great and look how we turned out, or it was not so great and we don't want our kids to have to go through those things. Yeah. So, whatever. So I just was telling Angie, like, Angie did an awesome job, raising her kiddos. And she had help in the beginning. She was married again. She's widowed, for those of you who are maybe just watching this as the first episode. So 7 years it's been since 8 years since Ty has passed. So for those 8 years, she was solo dolo, and her kids, just go ahead and brag on them a little bit.
All right, so my oldest one, he just closed on his house. 21 years old. Closed on his house.
We need to learn how to put those like we need confetti.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Girl, I can't
21. We're gonna get that for the next episode. 21.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And I always press to my kids that college is for networking and learning stuff you can't learn on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So college was not for him. Okay. And I did not press him.
Did he go at all?
He went for like 2 weeks.
Oh. he knew immediately.
He was like, nah.
Did he know before though, like that he wasn't really feeling it, but just kind of went?
It's not that he was a bad student, but it just wasn't for him.
Okay.
He was schooled out.
Okay. Yeah.
So which is fine because he's great with money, and I feel like if you are good with money, you say if you can manage $10, you can manage 100. You manage 100, you manage 1,000. But yeah, so he's doing well. My middle boy graduates from college in May. He went for his associates in automotive technology.
Awesome.
I already got a little resume working with Pit Crew. And he just falls tail backwards into opportunities. Like he just know how to finesse people.
Awesome.
I hate to use the word finesse.
He learned from the best.
I am. But no, he just knows how to talk to people and how to present himself, which is a soft skill.
Awesome.
And then baby boy, he is at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, studying business technology.
Him out this summer.
I showed
or this fall.
I did. I totally did. And he's doing well. He is doing very well. He calls. He not just texts, but he calls me. Yeah. So I'm excited for all three of them because it's one thing to speak life into your kids, and it's a whole other thing for them to
do it and walk in. Yes. So my kiddos. So I got 5. Nobody's out the house except for my oldest, but she's in college, so she's still in the house.
She probably ain't coming back.
No, well, I want her to. Kids.
Yeah, you can feel like the chemistry between you and your daughter. Y'all like kindred spirits.
I love them. So she's 19. This is year 2 for her. In college, she is a ball player. So she plays ball. Got her little self a scholarship. And when I tell y'all, like I didn't have a scholarship. My husband didn't have a scholarship. He might have, I think, because he played basketball too. Okay. So let me not take that from him. I didn't have nothing. But I made it, and I'm really look at me now. Yeah. So anyway. Scholarship, awesome. And then I have a 15-year-old. She's a freshman. I have a 13-year-old. She is in 8th grade. I have an 11-year-old who is in, 6th grade. And then my 10-year-old son, so 4 girls, 1 boy. He is in 5th grade. But so they're not out the house, but my husband and I are definitely grooming them to get out the house. And I think for me, and it all started with me, to be honest, like not, me and my husband together, but for me mentally as a mother, raising kids, my mom, was a great mother. She didn't go to college. Like my sister didn't go to college. Like, so I didn't have that as an example. Okay. But I knew I wanted to be the first person in my family to go to college. So that was my goal. So I did that. You know what I mean? And so I think it started there. And so like fast forward to getting married, having kids, and like you said, college isn't for everyone, but like I'm grooming my kids. Like when you done here, this is where you're going. This is what you need, because like degrees are definitely important unless you have a skill set. You know what I mean? Like there's other things that we talk about because again, college isn't for everybody. There's trade schools, tech schools, whatever. But whatever it is, get something. Don't be out here, mooching on folks. And I'm not talking about any job more than the other, but there are some, there are low level jobs. And so that's not going to help. Like, especially like we see now, the economy and what it's doing, you're going to need something that's going to bring you and your family in some income, right? Yeah. So, again, we're grooming them, and I told my husband like once, so he has his master's and I have my master's, and he actually was working on his. He actually was working on his doctorate, but kind of put that on the back burner for a little bit, and he probably will still go back and finish that. But like, just telling him like our kids have no excuse. So like, don't come to me telling me. And I went to school, and he did as well. I think with his master's, he was working, I was working, and we had kids. So like, there's no excuse when it comes. You know what I mean? So like, you have to set the tone for your kids because they are kids and they're depending on you for that guidance, the what to do and what. And so if you honestly, let's say you didn't have, the greatest upbringing and, maybe you didn't get it right as an adult, then you had kids, they don't have to follow that same path. Like teach them to be better. I want my kids to be better than me. And I don't feel like I ain't arrived or whatever, but I feel like, again, I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm, a professional, whatever. Do I have areas for room of improvement? Absolutely, I do. But I want them to be better. So like, just go beyond me, And so we're setting them up for success to leave the nest, hopefully never to return, And it's okay. And I told my oldest, like, when she gets out of school, I want you to come back. I want you to come back, save your coins. I think we talked about this on another episode, maybe not, or maybe offline, because our counterparts, and I always say that, like, our Caucasian friends, I feel like they take care of their kids. And we watch
everybody but us.
And we watch, like, and this is kind of probably how I learned about it, HGTV. And these people out here buying them homes. Well, what do you do for a living? Oh,
I'm a butterfly wrangler.
And I'm unemployed. And they got $300,000 down to put down on a house. How? Because they were able to stay with their parents, save their money, and their parents allowed them to do that. And what is it about us where we're pushing our kids out of the, like, why? You know what I'm saying? But it's that, like, that's how we learn. You work, and then you whatever. And then we teach our kids, you work, and then you whatever. But no, I told her, like, come back, Save your coins, and she may or may not come back, but the door is there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think we should always be a safety net. But what I find funny, I don't know if it's funny or ironic, but I felt the same way about you about obtaining my degree. Now, I'm not... Listen, my degree is nothing but a piece of paper at this point in time.
Because she's not utilizing it, that's all.
Yeah.
She's a smart cookie.
You know what? Yeah, a little bit. But I have a BA in psychology with a with a certificate in trauma studies. So
look at you.
Yeah, but I didn't.
But do you ever feel like you want to utilize that or no?
No. At this point in time, I feel like it would be too heavy for me.
Okay.
To take on other people's
trauma.
Yeah, it'd be too heavy.
So you would be that counselor that would be telling your problems to your clients.
Exactly. Breaking them down.
You know what? Let's switch places.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on the couch and they like, But yeah, I definitely, the thought process was to use the degree as leverage.
Okay.
So I was also the first person in my family to finish college. And I kind of felt like that set the tone. So I had aunts that went back to school after me, and I got cousins that have gone and completed their studies. Yeah. But I just really impress upon my kids because I don't want them to waste the time and money. I really feel like it's for networking. It's for networking for the most part. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if you can find a passion, then then you should pursue that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I've always tried to. Thank God I've been able to pretty much grant every wish. Right to my avail. Yeah, There's been very few times where I've had to tell them no. Nice. When they approach me about pursuing something. But the house rule was you had to do it for at least a year. Oh. Yeah, so if you decide 2 months into this that you don't like it, too dang on bad. Yeah. 1 year.
You know what, that's good, and it's a good point because so when my daughter was in 8th grade, because in their school district they can start pursuing sports once they hit 8th grade. And so she I think wanted to go out for cross country. Okay. But then she went to the practice and cross country, they running. Okay. Yes. Running forever. And so she wanted to quit. And I told her no. Because I didn't want her to think that if I don't like something or something don't work out, I can just quit. And then you know what I mean? So you got to encourage your kids and you have to set the tone. Now, if it was physically, debilitating or it was ailing her in some way, or something was going on, of course, but you just want to quit just because you don't want to run or you don't like no, you're going to see this through. And I just always think about that, like it's important to have somebody to push you because it's going to get hard. Yeah, absolutely. You're going to get discouraged, like whatever you're going through in life, but you need an encourager to be like, hey, it's rough, but you can make it. Yeah. You can do it. You can keep going. You're built for this. Absolutely. And you need to be that for your kids.
Oh, that can be chills.
If you're doing that for your kids, then they probably can feel like they can do anything. Yeah. Which is another point, Go ahead.
And I feel like a lot of adults lack that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why people get divorced so quickly. It's too dang on convenient.
Because it's too easy to quit. Like, it's so easy to walk away. Yeah. It's very hard to stay and, make it work, And I was I was talking to somebody over the weekend and like a newlywed, but I was just telling her, like, you got to stick it out. Like, it's different topic, but, just marriage. So you got me, and I was who I was before I got with you, and then you got him who was who he was before y'all became one. So now y'all got to figure out how to mesh those. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you're going to have arguments. Because you're getting to know each other. Yeah. Yeah. So don't quit. Hang out. And my husband was saying today. He talked about. I'm sorry. Not today. His message. Okay. He's talking about it's time to build. Okay. And so just making sure that you have God in the middle. So if God is your foundation to me in anything in life, and that's another thing that we stress the importance of to our kids, like your ability to do whatever it is that you do, God gave you that. Yes. You know what I mean? So keeping him first, keeping him the center, will help as well. And, kids are kids. We're adults. We have choices and things happen, and maybe we don't, continue on that foundation or that path. But that foundation will always be there, and they're going to definitely go back to what it was that you said, what it was that you did, and God did. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Bible says to train them up as they should go, and they will not depart. So you got to set that, again, it's all about setting the foundation and the tone.
Yeah. And it was so funny because, like, as my kids got older now, you be going through it. In those teen years, you be going through it, right? So I would complain to my mom, like, oh my God, I just feel like they not listening.
Because they not. They listen to their peers.
But I came to the epiphany that it's not that they don't hear or they don't listen. It's still rolling around in their brain, and then it'll spark when it's necessary or when they become mature enough to be able to understand it. Yeah. But another thing that I've taught my kids, just some soft skills like showing up to places on time. Oh. And yeah. I'm
gonna be late to my own funeral. But go ahead, keep going, girl.
I'm only late a lot of places because I don't want to go. Okay. Like work.
Ooh, let's scratch that. Y'all didn't hear that. Her job. If you're listening, that ain't what she said.
I show up just late. But another thing is just like how to give a firm handshake, how to do follow-up questions,
looking people in the eye.
Yes, those are things that will get your foot in the door. So as long as you have the opportunity, you can take it anywhere you want to go from there.
Yeah, so that's good. And one of the things too for me is I think we talked about this on we done had so many episodes. I can't remember, but I think one of the episodes we talked about like people who are deceitful and like liars. So like I really try to stress that to my kids now, and they're kids, and I always say like kids, we tell little white lies, but I try to talk to them about that because I don't want that to carry on into their adulthood. Absolutely. Got away with it, got away with it.
Normalize it.
Yeah, because if you get into business with somebody and you are deceitful in your, practices, for one, you can go to jail if it's, something like that. But for two, ain't nobody gonna want to work with you.
Exactly.
And they gonna tell people, and those people not gonna want to work with you.
But you notice how bad news or bad reviews
travels
faster.
Yes, because you immediately like, oh, they didn't bring my food out on time.
I can't wait. Let me get on social media quick.
And then Amazon be telling me, can you give a thing about your review? And I just be ignoring it. Because it's when, it gets to you when somebody do you wrong. So now you want to tell everybody.
Yeah. But sometimes I feel like if you're doing your job right, I mean, that's part of your your duty. Like,
but it's nice because you want to be recognized, right? If you did a good job. So like, I see where it comes from. Yeah. But one of the things about you is, and we're gonna talk offline, but I remember like years ago you told me about, so again, kicking your kids out the house. But you told me how you set up, what do you have? Or what did you set up for them, money-wise, monetary?
They have Roth IRAs.
Roth IRAs, and you started that at what age?
It hasn't been that long. Like,
I thought you started when they were young. I mean, I guess young and...
But I made them authorized users on my credit cards when they were young.
Which is,
And so what that does is that gives them a credit score. So a bad credit score is better than no credit score. So even if you don't feel like your credit score is where you want it to be, put them on there anyway.
Did you put them on like, let's say, ones that had like a late payments, or did you put them on the good ones?
I put them on everything.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was like, bad times ain't gonna last always. That's how I looked at it.
No. Yeah, but then they have those years of credit history.
Exactly.
And that's what looks good on the portfolio when you're trying to get stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the Roth IRAs came like maybe 4 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you had it for a long time. Okay.
No.
Well, I want to start now, so you gotta. She told me what to do, but I forgot. So maybe my kids were younger, and I was thinking about starting it then, but your kids were older.
Yeah, and there's so many different resources out there. Like, even you don't have to put like a huge chunk of money away on there. You can do Charles Schwab slices. You can do Robinhood. You can do Acorns. And it only costs like dollars. Dollars.
And to me, that sets them up again. So maybe you don't want them to live in your house long term so that they can save. Or maybe you can't afford for them to do that because you need them to chip in. Are you grown now? Okay, chip in.
Yeah.
But imagine if you set them up with something like that. So you're putting into, or let's say your kids are old enough even to have a job, teaching them to
save.
Put into, a save, retirement, whatever, something that's going to, what do you call those investments that, not just your regular savings, but the one that,
the CDs?
Yes, that kind of grow over time, or it appreciates over time or something. So you're just not saving $1,000, but it's growing. Yeah. I don't know the proper term, but So by the time that they are 21, they can get out there and purchase their own home.
Yeah.
if they want to.
And one thing that I really impressed upon my kids, I explained to them why I'm doing what I'm doing. So they have options. You don't want to have to work for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to want to work for someone and to be there of your own on your own accord, but it's a whole nother thing
when you forced to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning to go to work. Help us, Lord.
Oh Jesus. But I'm trying to think of another thing that I did for them. So when they do, so for the Roth IRA, they get to choose their stocks.
Oh, your kiddos, or you just mean in general?
In general.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So, but they pick their own stocks. Like if I hear, Apple's doing a stock split, then I tell them, hey, log into your account. Okay. This is what's going on. Yeah. Go into your savings and put this much into your Schwab account. Yeah. But and all of this information, I am by no means.
She's not a guru.
No, I'm not. I'm not an expert.
But she's doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah. I'm all right. But just making them aware of what I'm doing and why. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, so again, reading is fundamental. So during the pandemic is where, and I'll say even before that I had, everybody was talking about, what's the white man name? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Not him. So not him. What's the guy who talked to you about the money in the envelopes? Ramsey. Yes, Dave Ramsey. So like a while ago, somebody had hit me to him. So I read his book, of course. But then it was 2020 during the pandemic where like my mindset had shifted. Okay. And I guess probably because we were on lockdown and you know what I mean? People couldn't work and this and that. We, thank God, still had money coming into our home, so we were okay. But there was one while where people weren't getting paid. So like then what? So like I got into how to fix my own credit, like doing my own credit repair, reading on that. Got a couple of books on financial stuff. There were some other authors other than Dave Ramsey, but I can't remember those. I guess Rich Dad Poor Dad was somebody else. Yeah. That I read. And then just started working on again saving and this and that. Am I doing the greatest at it? Probably not. But again, there are resources out there. If you feel like I don't know how to do that or whatever. Yes. There's a bunch of Facebook groups that people got these days.
Follow Bigger Pockets.
YouTube. What's the other one you like?
Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah. YouTube. So there are resources, and there is no way that we should. Again, to me, your mindset has to shift because we were taught one way, we grew up one way. But things are different and things are changing. And what your parents did, what your grandparents did, definitely ain't gonna work for you in 2022.
Amen.
So you need to, shift that thinking. And even in that, like our kids are different. Like this new generation, they talk about stuff. They are curious. So they ask questions, and for us, it was like we'd be seen, not heard. You couldn't, question why I can't go there. Why I can't. And my kids quickly be like, can you take me to the mall? No, I'm not going to be able to see. Why not? Because I said so. But again, this generation just to me isn't accepting of that, you know what I mean? And not that they're being disrespectful, because for us it was
a legit question.
It seemed disrespectful when we would ask, but they're just curious and they want to know. And I think that not that you got to now by all means, if I say no, it's because I say no. But sometimes just in certain situations, I will explain, like you said, explaining to your kids. Now you were talking about other things, but I'll explain to my kids like why this and why that, and I'll talk them through. Things, because I don't know, this generation is different.
Yeah, I think it's important, and it kind of humanizes us, so that when we are tired, they understand why.
Correct. Yeah. Yes, and I think what I'm learning too is, which is off topic, we do that all the time, but but I'm learning boundaries with my kids. Yes, because again, I just want to make sure that they're getting what I feel like they should as kids. And again, my mom was just to me like, I wasn't spoiled because, she was a single mom. So then like I got everything I wanted or whatever, but she tried her best to make us have a great Christmas, a great birthday, and just to enjoy. So I just want to make sure that my kids do the same. But again, when I'm tired, I need to just say I'm tired and not do it, because then I'm complaining. I call her frustrated, complaining because my kids want to go to this and I took them, but I'm tired. And well, why did I take them? Like I didn't even have to do all of that. So I'm just making myself. So like now I'm learning to like nope, or ask your dad, and then if he doesn't, then like if I don't feel like it, like I'm just not doing it. But that's again a teaching thing because you're not going to get everything you want in life. So I feel like even if I can do something sometimes, I probably don't, or I would say no. Because I don't want them to think that they're going to get everything in life, because then you're setting them up again for like, oh, somebody told me no, like what is that? You know what I mean? So like you teaching them rejection early because they might not get that job, or they might not get, it's not rejection. But
I feel like it's redirection. I feel like it's teaching them to problem solve. So what I would do is, I'm the queen of delegation. So if one kid was going somewhere and another kid needed to get somewhere, yeah, you can go, but you gotta take your brother.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. But I try to keep them separate too, because, they got their friend group. They got their friend group, so you don't want to, whatever. But yes. So a lot of times my 15 and 13-year-old will go together. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so you just have to learn how to finesse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and use your resources. Yeah. But I also thought it was interesting what you said about how our parents brought us up. Because I think they just... Again, have to extend grace because they didn't know
what they had.
Yeah, they didn't know what they didn't know. Yeah. So, it my mother has questioned some of my parenting choices, but she understands now, and she gives me room. She'll ask me, "Well, why?" And I'll explain to her. She was like, "Okay, all right, that makes sense."
Because like she wouldn't have handled it that way. Yeah. But again, that was how she was raised. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I think, like you said, like I always talk about giving people grace because everybody was raised differently. So what you may have gotten, I might have gotten. Exactly. What you didn't get, I may have gotten. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of, walk me through. And people may not even understand your choices all the time. And that's okay. It don't mean you made the wrong decision or whatever. You do what's best for your child, for your household. You know what I mean? Yes. You can listen to advice and take it in, but at the end of the day, you make that decision because that person ain't in your house. Exactly. And they ain't going to pick up the pieces when something falls or, you know what I mean? Like so you just kind of got to do what it is that works for you and your family. And I think if you're doing that, but just being there for your kids, especially this generation having to deal with social media,
the pandemic.
Yes, it's just a lot. And then these school shootings again. So that's, to me, that's traumatic. I got to go to school and be in the mindset to learn, but I'm also thinking that any moment, like a shooter or anybody can come into the building. So just being there for your kids. And then being there for your kids in a way, if your parents weren't there and whatever the situation was for them, knowing that you'll be there for your kids and show up for your kids. Exactly. Because the cycle does not have to continue. Exactly. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That makes me hopeful. Yeah, that at any point in time, you can change the narrative.
Absolutely. And your kids can change the narrative. If you let them, if you teach them, So you just,
I think that is a huge hurdle because a lot of us will not allow our kids the freedom to make mistakes, allow them to fail forward. A lot of times we're doing too much for them. Yes, in my opinion.
What is that called?
Helicopter parent.
But you kind of like
enabler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, that is like a pet peeve of mine, especially for young men, young black men in particular. Yes. Please allow them enough space. Now, I understand that it can be unsafe out there for our young men, but at the same time, we have to give them enough space to try their wings out. Yeah. Okay? And just be there just in case. Yes. Yeah. But fall back a little bit, Mom. Yeah. So allow them.
Let your sons wash dishes. Let your son earn their clothes. Let your sons cook. Let your sons wash their clothes. Did I say wash their clothes already?
Please.
I'm just saying,
it bears repeating.
Yes, because they can. Yes. And so maybe they won't have a significant other that could do those. I don't know, but they need to be self-sufficient. And absolutely. I feel like men are always coddled, because the wife is meant to, or the woman is meant to.
Nah, bruh.
Yeah. But if you want your sons out the house, you gotta if you want to push your sons out, you gotta.
If you want your sons to eventually be married,
yes,
and have some grandkids,
yes, teach them how to do everything. Yep. And I take out the trash, and I tell my girls to get the trash. Because I ain't waiting on the man to pump my gas. I'm just independent like that. I don't know. I'm sorry. But yes, we still teaching them to be soft. But you can do those things as well. It's not a man job. It's not a woman job.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We hope y'all enjoyed this episode. We always rambling about something else.
Yeah, but I think it's all good information.
I think so. Yeah.
Y'all chime in and let us know.
Please.
All right. All right. Y'all be good.
See y'all.